Future editor here, complete with injury. I didn't intro this video very well, nor did I structure it very well. So here I am. Thank you for watching episode 3. This video is all over the place. I'm confused by what's going on. I'm sorry. I can't really edit it any other way because past me wasn't nice and didn't film in a coherent way. So that's that, but I hope you enjoy and thanks for watching. Oh my god. I can't wait to make a video about this because good lord. It so many things to say. So I started reading this months ago when I had a job, and it was all fine. Literally, out of nowhere, 10 chapters in, it gets graphic. Not safe for work graphic. It wasn't until a few days ago, months after I had started reading this, I actually took the time to read the description. And if I would have done that, we wouldn't be here right now because I would have said no. In that description is a scene of a very explicit nature. It was just horribly written smut. It was just like, and then all of a sudden it's like, I'm a dominant, you're a submissive, and
welcome to Pound Town.
What if someone read over my shoulder and saw a full screen of all these sexual things and words and like, I feared for my life reading that in public and at home. What if my mother caught me reading that? I would die inside. I mean, I was already dead inside, and I have some clips to show what it was like reading them. I don't know if I can do this. Like, I already hate myself just because. I don't want this to like make me feel even shittier. God. This is the last chapter I'm going to read. Swear to God. I read more.
I have an hourglass figure. Oh my god. And I look just the way mom. My mom is beautiful and I'm beautiful. Oh my god. But I'm so quirky, like school in the morning? What? I can do this. I have been through a lot. I was gonna say worse, but I don't know if it gets worse than this.
Why am I reading this? 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 I'm wearing this face mask to conceal my shame and my blemishes. I think I'm already losing my mind. Hey, even more feature editor here. I didn't explain it very well in the film that I did have, so I just want to redo it here. So I just want to say that I don't hate the author. I don't have any ill feelings towards them. I actually really admire the fact that they were able to write a full-blown story down because I've never done that. So I'm just critiquing the content of the story, not the actual author themselves. And I don't mean to offend anybody. If I do, I'm really sorry. That's not my intention. And I'm definitely not kink shaming anybody. Like what you like, read what you like. I'm just sharing my opinion about this specific story. So enjoy. Thank you for tuning in to episode 3 of Reading Until I Hate Myself. This time we are doing the app called Dreame. It is an app that you can download on iOS. I'm not sure about Android, maybe, who cares? It's not worth it. So I first found out about this app on Facebook. There were these ads that I kept seeing, and it was really badly written. The grammar was off, the punctuation was wrong, like it was just horrible, and that piqued my curiosity. Why is this horrible? Are people reading this? Like, why is this popular? So I clicked on it. And then once I clicked on it, I kept seeing these ads on Facebook about 100 times. I was just like, okay, you know
know what, I'm just gonna read the story. I'll use it for my video, even though I know it's gonna like be stupid, and I'm gonna put myself through that. So this app, it's kind of like Wattpad. You have all these different stories from different authors, most of them probably young adult to, I guess, early 20s. I don't know what young kids have access to, so I feel like, at least this story that I read, you'd have to know anatomy and certain things about human bodies in order to write this kind of stuff. So, little background. I got up to at least chapter 32 out of 76 plus an epilogue. I read half of this thing. That was 5 months ago. I tried starting to read this again a week ago. I only made it 16 chapters of the way. Something that I had to remind myself was when I started reading this, I had a higher tolerance for crap. So I read 30 chapters and it took that long until I hated myself. But now I already hate myself enough that it only took 16 chapters for me to hate myself again. I guess I'll start with what I liked. So the lore of this universe is every single werewolf has a soulmate. So the goddess herself pairs you up with a soulmate, which I have questions about, and they're like perfect for you. Once you turn 18, you're able to find your soulmate. You can reject your mate. And when you do that, it's like a physical heartbreak, and so they actually feel it. And I just thought that was a cool little like touch. Bonk. So the next thing that I liked is the birth. I swear to God, if they lick my calves one more time. So the second thing that I appreciated was this little detail. It's the night of MC's birthday party, and she got ready and flattened her hair. And then she gets rejected by her mate, and then leaves and goes to her room to cry. She cried so much, like in the fetal position, laying on the ground, that her tears curled her hair back. And I just thought that was a really interesting imagery of like, she cried so much that it curled her hair back from being flattened. The third and final thing that I appreciated was that the plot was pretty much like addressed within 3 chapters. I really appreciated like the fastness of that. I didn't appreciate the fastness of other things. Okay, Once Rejected, Twice Desired is a story about werewolves. And not just any werewolves, it's about the daughter of an alpha who also happens to be like this special amethyst twin, and so she also gets magical powers, and she didn't know, and she's special, and ew, isn't that unique? So that's like the summary. So chapter 1, we open on a dream. MC is having a steamy dream about Alexi, this boy man whore that goes to school with her, that is her brother's best friend. She gets woken up by her mom. We have this scene where she's in the bathroom and she's like,
oh, I have my mom's hair, and I'm not really beautiful, but like I'm kind of cute, but I'm not like other girls.
And it's just like, and so we find out she has a twin. His name is Aaron. Her name is something. Well, we find out that it's the last week of school. They turn 18 at the end of the week, her and her twin brother. We also find out, because they're twins, they can communicate telepathically. It's called mind linking. Mates can do it because it's a mate thing, and then like alphas can like mind link the pack. I think chapter 2, we meet the MC's best friend Jordan. Oh my God, Jordan spelled with a Y. So quirky. We also meet Alexi, who was Aaron's best friend. We find out he's a man whore. We also find out the whole pack, Blue Moon or something, like they all live together in one pack house. But I feel like if you have a pack that big, it'd be more like a pack town. And so they probably have like a mansion. Like one of the things in the story is that money is no object. The main characters are white, money is no object. It's not very diverse or relatable. But it's also a story about werewolves, so I don't know how relatable werewolves are. That's chapter 2.
Chapter 3, we find out that Jordan has been texting a boy, and she's like,
oh, I'm 18 and I think he's my mate, but he's not 18 yet, so like I don't want him to have any pressure about us being mates or not, so I haven't said anything.
We find out that Jordan is like a fighter, and she's like the #1 warrior, and there's kind of a funny line where MC like scares Jordan, and Jordan's like, and MC's like,
whoa, killer.
and I thought that line was kind of funny. Chapter 4, they graduate high school, it's really boring, and then they have a movie night with the boys, and that's really boring. Like, I thought it would be something more interesting because Jordan's like,
Alexi will be there.
but then they just watch movies, and it's really boring. And then it's midnight, and MC's wolf awakens, because in this universe, it's not like Twilight where you are the wolf. It's more, you're you, and then your wolf lives inside of you. So it's like 2 separate personalities, kind of. That's how I interpret it. So her wolf's name is Amethyst, and I only remember this because it was an interesting name, and like it comes up later and they say it a lot. Chapter 5. Jordan and MC are asleep in bed together. They wake up and the twins are 18. MC's bro like busts into the door and is and Aaron and Jordan like lock eyes, and they're like, mate. And oh wait, they either say mate or they say like mine or something like that. And then literally in MC's room, her brother and her best friend like start making out. And apparently that's a thing that happens when you find your mate, is you just immediately want to bone. And that brought up a series of questions that I had. I know you can reject your mate, but is it love if it's instantaneous? Like if you have no choice over it, is it love or is it lust? And then if it's love, I find that love is something that you work for. So if you like meet someone and it's just like, I love you. Okay, cool. You didn't grow that love. You didn't work for that love. So it's just kind of, it's like rich people buying their way into college. Like, but you didn't earn it. You know what I mean? Like, it's anticlimactic. They didn't like grow to love each other. It was just like the goddess and plot was like,
You love each other.
and it's like, yay! Cool! That's really cool. So Jordan and Aaron are sucking face in MC's room. MC is like,
Mom, make them stop.
and in the text, it says that she stomps her foot like a toddler. I guess if you're werewolves, sex is kind of just like a thing. So like for humans, it's like sex, you know, but for animals, it's like they do it because it's like that's how they just do it. You know what I mean? I hope that makes sense. I guess I can understand that part of her just being like,
Mom, they're kissing in my room, make it stop.
it's not about the fact that they're making out, it's like that they're in her room doing it. They're mates. It's the day/night of the birthday party. MC like gets dressed, goes down the stairs, sees Alexi, and she's like, mate. And so we find out that Alexi is MC's mate. Surprise, surprise. Chapter 6. We find out that they're mates. I'm repeating that because the way that this story is written is through the perspective of like 20 different characters, which makes it a little confusing and as if the author didn't really know what direction they wanted to take it. And so we get like everyone's POV. So we see it from Alexi's point of view, that he found out that MC was his mate and he's like,
Oh my god.
and so he like takes her up to his room because he also lives there because it's the pack house. He's like,
She doesn't deserve me. I'm a man whore.
blah, blah, blah. And he's like,
Yo, MC, like I never wanted a mate. And so I, Alexi, blah blah blah, of the blah 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 pack, hereby reject you.
and then she's like, oh my god. And she like falls to the floor and gets heartbroken. And so then she stands up and she's like,
I MC, daughter of the alpha of this pack, accept your rejection.
And he's like, and then she walks out, head held high, to her room where she like breaks down and starts crying. Chapter 7. We then get the brother's point of view, which is useless, where he finds MC in her room, puts her to bed, and then goes back to the party because he's like,
Well, at least one of us should be here to party.
but he's actually really sad. And then we get an unknown POV, and they're like,
Oh, I found my mate.
it's a mystery, but he's like 21, he's never found a mate, he's an alpha, and he has his trusty sidekick Beta, Cade. Chapter 8. MC wakes up, and Amethyst, her wolf, is like,
Wait, he was here.
and MC is like,
Hey, what are you talking about? Alexi broke up with us. Like, it's too soon, you sad wolf. I'm depressed. Let me cry.
and Amethyst is like,
No, our mate wants us. He, like, accepts us and he wants us.
and MC's like,
No, Alexi doesn't.
anyway, it's this big confusion thing. Anyway, that's that chapter. Oh, no it is not. Continuing in chapter 8, MC goes down to have breakfast. Her BFF is like,
Bro, are you okay?
and she's like,
I'm fine. I don't want to talk about it.
she goes to find Alexi because they gotta hash some things out. Like, bro, why'd you reject me? She goes into her dad's office, who is the alpha, and there's like all these people there because they're having a meeting. And Alexi is there, Aaron is there, and then who's this? It's unknown POV person, and that is her new mate. Oh my god, who would have ever seen that coming? Oh my god. So we have the office scene in MC's POV, and we have the office scene in Unknown's POV. And then in chapter 9, we have the office scene in Alexi's POV. And it's just like, why? This is literally the same scene from 3 different perspectives, but it didn't add anything else to the story, so we could have just had it. And it was just like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, okay, we're still doing this. Chapter 9, Alexi's POV. How do I explain this without, because I can talk about certain stuff to my friends, it's fine, and I make all kinds of jokes, but like talking to a camera about like stuff, like that stuff just isn't something that I prefer to discuss on camera. But in regards to that, so MC walks into the office, sees her new mate, and gets aroused because, like we said, when you're mated with someone, instant affection and like caring and love, and that's why I'm like, is it just lust? I don't know. I think it's just lust. But then like they're like, we love you, like we love each other, and they met. Like, okay, getting ahead of myself. So she sees him, and instantly she's aroused. And from the unknown POV, we can tell that he can smell that. And then from Alexi's POV, we can tell that he can also smell that. And so Alexi gets pissed that MC is aroused by somebody else, even though he literally just rejected her like 12 hours ago. And this is one of those points that really gets me pissed off, is because he literally rejects her, and then he gets all possessive and like angry, and he's like,
She's my mate! Da, da, da,
and he like challenges this guy, and everyone's like, bro, you rejected her, what the heck are you doing? And he's like,
I made a mistake!
I'm already mad. Still in chapter 9, we find out his name is Xander. We also find out from MC, for some reason, she knows his exact height, which is 6'6", and from his POV, we find out that he knows exactly how tall she is, 5'2". Now that's almost 1.5 feet of difference. So if I'm Xander,
Yeah.
MC is like to here. Do you know how bad that is for your neck?
Hey. Oh my god, Xander, I love you.
I don't know. I'm really bad with that. I would have been like, oh, he's like a head taller than me or something. You know, like normal people stuff. And then we also find out that Xander starts to call MC little one, and I hate it. I hate it so much. So Xander calls MC little one, and the reason I hate that so much is because she calls him daddy. It creates this like weird relationship of them like wanting to bone each other, but then like he's like, oh little one, and she's like, daddy, and it's like, are you, this feels wrong because she's so itty bitty and he's so big. It feels like a father-daughter relationship, and that's what bothers me. One of the things that bothers me so much about their relationship together. Oh, so we're on to the other thing that pisses me off. So in the next chapter, it's from MC's point of view and Xander's point of view. I don't remember who says what, but in chapter 10, we find out what happened the night of MC's birthday. So after she had cried and been rejected and all that stuff, and Aaron put her in her bed and she fell asleep, we find out that Xander is at the party. His wolf, Max, is like, our mate is here, our mate, get up, our mate is here. And Xander's like,
What? It's been 3 years since I turned 18. My mate is here?
He goes upstairs. Mind you, this is not his house. This is not even his pack territory. This is another pack. He goes up to the second floor. His wolf is going insane. The wolf's like, she's right behind the door. Get in there. What are you doing? What are you waiting for? He goes in. Xander walks into this bedroom without knocking. He goes in. He sees MC sleeping, and he like sees that she's been crying, and then he's like,
Oh my god, I'm hurt on the inside because my mate is broken.
He crawls into bed next to the sleeping girl, who's obviously been crying already. He crawls into bed with her and cuddles her and thinks it's okay. Do you see? I feel like I shouldn't have to say more. He non-consensually cuddles a sleeping person. How would you feel? Someone you've never met. You have never met this person. It wasn't her brother. It wasn't her friend Jordan. It wasn't her dad. It wasn't some other pack member from the house that she's known since she was a kid. It was some stranger that crawled into bed with her and thought it was okay to cuddle an unconscious person. Huh? The second part of this is that Xander is telling this side in front of her family. He's telling this to her father and to her brother. MC's father and MC's brother heard this strange man say that he non-consensually cuddled their daughter and their sister. And literally, MC is like,
Oh my god. You fixed me. You put me back together and I didn't even know you were there.
one of the problems about this thing that I will explain is that the audience that's reading these stories is getting it ingrained in them to think that this is okay. It's like After and Twilight. You know what? Edward broke into her room to watch her sleep for months. Months. Not even like, oh, it's just a one time. No, months. He stalked her. And like, I kind of get it because he can't read her mind and he's like weirdly obsessed with her to an unhealthy degree because he was literally willing to kill himself or get himself killed because he thought she died. Anyway, young girls are reading these kinds of stories, and a lot of them, because this kind of content just gets pumped out and shoved down their throats, and they think this type of behavior is romantic and that it's okay, and it is not. Example, the kissing booth, the scene on the beach. What's his name? Flynn. He has an anger problem. He tackles his dude, probably breaking or cracking a rib at least, and then literally yells at Elle, slams his hand on the car, and tells her to get in the car. She does. And this type of behavior is romanticized because it's not addressed. Like at all. He faces no repercussions. He doesn't get punished. There's no consequences to his behavior. It's showing that it's okay to act like this. It's showing that, oh, if a boy or a man really loves you, he'll act this way. And it's really unhealthy. Moving on, this is a fun, lighthearted video. Okay, chapter 11. So in this chapter, Alexei challenges Xander to the right to be the mate of MC. And this part really grinds my gear. Two males, this one, Alexei and Xander. Alexei's like,
I rejected MC, but I still want to claim her as my mate because you haven't marked her yet.
and Xander's like,
She is mine!
and MC is there just like,
Okay.
her only problem with this is that Alexei might die because Alexei is a beta, Xander is an alpha, and alphas are just genetically stronger. So her problem is that Alexei might die. Not the fact that she has no say in it. She's not like,
Hey, wait a minute. I think I have some say into who marks me and, who I mate with for life.
she's just like,
No, one of them might die. Don't fight over me.
I don't know how much longer I can get into this video until I hate myself. Making a video until I hate myself. Okay, let's just get through this plot. With the rejection, finding a new mate, and now the challenge issued by Alexei, MC faints, and now we're into chapter 12. MC is in the hospital. Oh god, I forgot about this part. Just so you're aware, Friday night, Alexei rejects MC, or Saturday night. 12 hours later, she meets Xander, her new mate, and then they're in a meeting for 3 hours. So that's 15 hours. Oh wait, no. She's known Xander for 3. We're going off that timeline. She's sitting on Xander's lap for 3 hours in a meeting, so they haven't talked. They just found out each other's names. She faints. I don't know. An hour later, she wakes up in the hospital because she fainted and she needs to rest because her body's just been through so much. She's probably talked to Xander for 5 minutes, like face to face, and then everyone gives Xander and MC some alone time because, they're mates and they need some alone time to get to know each other. And, Xander's like,
I'm a dom. Yeah, and you're gonna be my submissive. Just so we're on the same page. That's what's happening.
and I'm just like, so no, like, what's your favorite color? Where'd you go to school? Like, nothing. And he's just like,
Sex. Yes. I know you're 18. I know you've never done anything before, but I'm gonna do things to you that will rock your world.
that's literally what happens. And this is the part that got really explicit, and I'm at work and I'm just like, okay. Just the way that it's described, again, is just like, it's not sensual. It's not, ooh, it's just like, whoa, okay, did not see that coming. Like, okay. So he goes to go fight or whatever. Chapter 13. Oh my god, literally an hour into this video and I'm still working on this. This is gonna be a nightmare to edit. MC is still in the hospital. Her best friend Jordan comes in. Jordan now bears the mark of Aaron. And here's my question. Do she-wolves mark he-wolves? What if you're asexual? Yeah, what if you are asexual and you get mated with somebody and this whole thing is like lust? Are you forced to not be asexual anymore? Do you not care anymore? Anyway, moving on. Jordan has Aaron's mark. Everyone's excited. And then we see the first human to wolf shift, and that's Xander and his first mate, his beta. Oh, good stuff. Chapter 14, they fight. Xander wins. Alexei concedes. He almost gets beat to death. Chapter 15, more explicit stuff. Before, Xander just was like telling her what it was to be a dom and, what he was going to do to her later. Now he does like a thing with her, to her, and he's like,
your body is my toy. I'm gonna do whatever I want to it.
and she's like,
Sure. Yeah, I like that.
and it's like, okay.
Hi. Not sure what number future editor I am, but we're here. So this is like my 4th time filming this. So I just wanted to, I keep wanting to say the word insert and I hate it, but what? So put myself in, insert. I just wanted to stop by and try and better explain about this part of the story. Really, I didn't think was entirely appropriate. Like, person to person, not even like what they end up doing, but just like what you would have a conversation about. So MC is in the hospital from being overwhelmed. Xander tells her that he's a dom and what he's going to do to her. He goes to win the challenge, an hour later comes back, and then they do stuff while she's still in the hospital. And I just found that really inappropriate because she's in the hospital. She just learned about this stuff an hour ago. She's new. She's never done anything like this before or anything close to it before. She literally has done no research, knows nothing about this world, and Xander just comes in saying, hey, we're mated, and so we're gonna do this right now. Oh gosh, it just bothers me so much because it's like, just have a conversation that's longer than 2 minutes. Sit down, have a discussion, and talk it out. They still don't know each other's favorite color. Not that that's the most important thing, but that's just basic, shallow, low-level stuff. The stuff introverts like me hate to talk about, but we know that information because it's the bare minimum. MC and Xander haven't even done the bare minimum of like relationship conversation. It's just like they jump over that hurdle. Anyway, so I love watching video essays. I love watching commentaries and reviews, and these 2 clips that I have are from people that did reviews, and they did reviews on 50 Shades of Grey. Now, I'm not saying that the story was anything to the extent of 50 Shades. I think 50 Shades has a lot of problems with mental abuse, physical abuse, stalking, more things that I can't think of right now because it's late and my brain doesn't work. That's kind of what I mean. This story isn't anything like that I read. However, these 2 commentators bring up some really good points about doms versus subs. Dominic Noble is a video essayist, a commentator, a researcher. I really enjoy his content, and I will be linking his video series about this in the description below, and it's his whole thing about 50 Shades.
Quick admission, I have personally only dabbled in this particular fetish. I won't go into details, but suffice to say, these were not my only pair of handcuffs. While this means I'm not personally speaking from a point of expertise, I am closely acquainted with several people who are massively involved in BDSM, so a lot of what I'm about to tell you is their information, not mine. So, to start with, a real dominant, someone who knows what BDSM is, would never try to dominate someone who's clearly not a submissive and does not want to be one. Real BDSM is the pairing of 2 people who are perfect for each other. A dominant who gets off on control and punishing, and a submissive who gets off on helplessness and punishment. On top of that, they both know that by doing the thing they like, they're also pleasuring their partner, so it's super win-win all round.
This second clip is from Kat Blaque or Block, still not sure how to pronounce her name, but she is an active member of the BDSM community, and she talks about doms and preferring newbie subs who don't really know what's going on, and she explains it a lot better than I can. So
I've met a lot of men like Christian Grey. I've met so many men like Christian Grey, and I don't know if it's if this is a result of a post 50 Shades of Grey world, but I've met a lot of men like Christian Grey, these guys who are just kind of entitled, they want what they want, and they are excited by women who don't quite know what they want, right? A lot of dominants don't like experienced bottoms or submissives because you walk in with boundaries, you walk in with experience, you walk in knowing what you want and don't want, right? There are certain dominants, those dominants who are really excited about the new girls, they're excited because they get to define to that person what BDSM is. It's very common for men to meet women like that, for these male dominants to meet women like that, and be really excited And it's actually a really similar story to what was portrayed in the film. A lot of times this woman will meet a guy who's a dominant and she'll be really taken by him. She'll be really infatuated with him. He presents the BDSM thing to her, and she, because she's so taken by him, will just sort of agree the BDSM thing is fine. But it's not. It's not fine.
I hope that kind of helps better portray why the way that this story presented their first interaction really bothers me. I think it would have been a lot more meaningful if they had waited until they got back to his pack house, or they were in an actual bedroom, or I don't know, somewhere more at least sexy than a hospital room. It wasn't very sexy. But that's kind of just all I had to say, so back to the video. Stupid.
Chapter 16, I think. I stopped taking notes. Alexei wakes up and he's like,
Why isn't MC here? My mate should be here.
and his dad is like, bruh, no, you conceded. And he's like,
I would never concede.
he like rips out his IVs and he books it out the door, and he like shifts into a wolf and he's gone. And that's where I stopped recently. From what I remember, Alexei like disappears. MC goes to Xander's pack and she's now their Luna. She like does the typical woman stuff where she's great with kids and takes care of the house and what. Something happens and like they capture Alexei. MC has like a dream about Alexei, but her dreams are real. So she dreams with Alexei and they like do stuff, and then she marks him, he marks her, she marks him. Maybe they do mark males. I don't know. And then it turns out that the dream was real, and so now she has two mates. She has pups, and I think someone dies at the end. I don't know. I really should remember, I paid money to read these. I paid like $3. That is the story. It was really good. So anyway, here are some questions and some notes that I had that I'll just go over because I don't have anything else to do. I don't know if I mentioned this. Is everyone a werewolf in this universe? Ooh! So, tell me what this word is.
So it turns out I didn't actually take enough screenshots, and I'm definitely not going back to take anymore, so I gotta cut this part short. Suffice to say, there were a lot of words that were starred out that didn't make any sense to be starred out. Okay.
I think a lot of them were misspelled, and so she didn't put enough stars. Words like forced, contact, bra, but then like the F word and the B word and stuff weren't starred out. But I guess we don't want people knowing about the word forced. Okay, so let's talk about the POVs. Oh my god. Right now, I don't have the capacity for love. So in regards to the challenging for a mate, what if there was a male and he had two she-wolves that wanted to mate with him? Would they be able to issue a challenge in order to mate with him? If so, does he have a say against whether or not he wants that to happen? How does this whole patriarchal world work? If you lick my leg, bro, I dare you, is equated, is equal to, stop licking my legs. I don't like it. It's gross. It tickles. It's slimy. Ugh. Are those all my notes? Oh! The part where Aaron and Jordan are making out in MC's room, and MC calls for their mom, and the mom comes in to like break them up and to stop them making out and like having sex right there. This is what the mom says. Anyway, Aaron, please try and keep it in your pants at least until after the party tonight. After that, feel free to mate and mark each other all you want. Good thing we had your dad soundproof your rooms earlier this year. The mom was like, good thing we soundproofed your rooms because we knew when you turned 18 that you would be, so loud that the whole house would hear you, but we soundproof your room, so it's totally fine. Like, ooh, why am I getting cramps? Oh, God. Oh! I guess I'll just voice over these other things.
No.
Just voice over.
No.
And that's kind of all I have. There was no real structure to this video or how I wanted to do it. I just wanted to talk about it, get it out of my system because it's kind of been months in the making, and after I edit this, I'll never have to think about this story ever again. It's just been this like thing that's been in my head because it's like, okay, you gotta make this video, you gotta read it. Like, if I didn't make this video, I would have read that for nothing. I would have paid $3 for nothing. Okay, bye, I'm just done. I'm done.